There we go. Let me put it down just a little bit. Actually, let's go back over here. We're going to zoom in. There we are, right there. All right, welcome in, guys. Welcome to the show. It's Paint with Josh. We're back in the studio. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to show you how to paint an Oregon seascape today. Funnily enough, I've had all this time to prep and didn't get out any paint. So I'm going to show you the paints that we need to put on our palette for today. Right, a little of our blue over here. We're going to use our Phthalo blue. We use our Alizarin crimson. Throw that guy down just a little bit. We don't need too much of it, but we'll probably use it for the second show later on today. Now, you can always go back and add more and more and more paint. Let's use the Bob Ross black today. You can use more and more paint on your palette. You don't always have to go with a huge glob right off the bat, right? It doesn't have to be like old Paint with Josh. I paint a lot. Every day, twice a day. It's crazy how much we paint. Let's see. Let's go with the Winsor & Newton White. Brand new jar, brand new tube. So before we do anything, let's mix it up, get it all mixed, get all that oil. You guys are going to tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwiches? And should be pretty good. Give it a little test. That's pretty good. All right. You never want it to be too wet. Too wet of your titanium white is not going to work for our technique, right? We want it to be super, uber wet. You know a cool thing somebody told me? If you get a little bit of cardboard, it doesn't have to be a circle. If you get a little bit of cardboard and you put your oily paint on there, it will soak into the cardboard, and then you can scrape up your thicker paint, put it back onto your palette, right? And go and use it later. Now, I've got a brand new stinking palette for us today. We're probably going to need our sap green as well. So, before we get too far into it, you got to let me know where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwiches? And once we have everything out, we'll be ready to rock and roll. We're going to use a lot of colors on this guy today. A lot of colors, a lot of colors. We even get the red out. But we'll see by the time we get there. We'll see if we need the red or not. Now, I'll show you every color and every single step. And you guys got to remember that this Oregon coastline painting with a blue sky, sandy beach, and some really cool little bushies is available if you go over to paintwithjosh.etsy.com. Right? Now, let's go through all the colors that we have today. Our dioxazine purple we're probably not going to use. Don't remember that guy. We don't. Actually, maybe. We might use the dioxazine purple. Then we have cadmium yellow, Indian yellow, yellow ochre, Van Dyke brown, which is the darkest of the browns. So if you're using burnt sienna or raw sienna, go with a darker one. Then we've got our dark sienna, or umber, our dark sienna brown is the lighter color. We have our phthalo green, sap green, phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, midnight black, titanium white. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, I've already prepped our canvas with Bob Ross liquid white all over the whole thing pretty evenly. So you can see that the canvas is not dry. We teach the wet on wet technique, which means we take wet paint and we put it onto a wet surface. And that way it'll blend and slide around a lot faster. So let's go right into our gorgeous phthalo blue. Pull it right down onto the brush, right? If we get up here close to the cameras, and we're pulling it down, and we're pulling it down, and we're pulling it down, right? Not grabbing from the whole pile and dragging. Just get the tip of the brush in there. And it'll drag down just enough, and you can kind of fill your brush like that, right? Just evenly. We don't need it to be too much, and if we don't have enough, we can always go back and add more. So, where are you watching from, guys? Let's mix our little sky down. I'm going to leave a little white area for my clouds. Got to. We're only going to go about 1/3 of the way down with our sky. Everything else is going to be ocean and sand and stuff. It's going to be a really cool little painting. Literally looking at the reference photo that I took from the Oregon coast today. And it's going to look awesome. Now, we're going to get very light down onto our horizon, and then you come in with very deep, dark blue and black water. That's what we're going to try anyway. So, out here we're mixing our phthalo blue, just letting it crisscross and mix down all of our little streaky poos, and our little light area will blend away, right? It's going to go away very fast. But look at that. Already looks like clouds out in the sky, just with that white part out there, and then we'll go accentuate what we want them to look like. Whole point being, we don't need our whole sky to be the same amount of blue. And in fact, why don't we get a little of our Bob Ross black, the midnight black color, which we all know is not very black. It kind of blends away very quickly, especially with all this liquid white on our canvas, right? So blend it down, blend it down, blend it down. The more you blend it, the more it's going to kind of go into one color, so you get to decide where you want to leave it. And let's say, well, we got our black and our blue onto our brush right now. Before we go back and blend it, right, we're going to have that thick paint on there. Let's come back here. Black and blue on the brush together. Oh, that's just exactly what I wanted it to look like. My goodness. Just my goodness. We're going to pop a little stretch of dark black and blue right back there. Right? Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to let it fade and get nice and soft. We'll come down and with our clouds, just going to kind of blend up into the sky. Right? We get that deep, dark, blue, oceany patch right there. Very neat. Now, it's got the black and then the blue, right? They're kind of blended together just from being on the brush that way. And the more that we bring it down, that lighter that color is going to get, meaning our water will get shallower and shallower and shallower as we go, right? So, always covering our edges, and now we've got too much paint on this brush to go back and blend out the rest of our sky. If we're doing anything, we're adding more and more and more paint. Every time we touch it, we're adding more paint. So, we need to go back and wash it off. Now, how do you wash off the brush, they say? Well, this is a very old and disgusting cup. But it's only about that full with our odorless mineral spirits, right? So even though it looks like I'm dunking in the whole thing into the jar, I'm really not. We're just getting the very tip of the bristles in, and then we pull it up out of the water and then shake it, right? Kind of spinning back and forth. Don't drop it. I've done it before, and it plunges all the way down into the bottom. Now we go and shake it into our trash can. Whip it into there, and then into the old beater bucket. Beat the poo out of it. Comes out nice and clean, right? But it's still wet. It's very wet, so you don't want to go straight back up to your canvas. You always want to dry it off on a paper towel. Just dab it down, whatever you gotta do. Looks like we may be doing something else, but we're not, I swear. May sound like someone knocking at the door sometimes. Boom, 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 right? Gorgeous. Now, we want to retain a lot of this white if we're going to be doing white sandy beaches, right? We can't just leave it white like that. So let's get in here. Before we even get to the beach, grab up an old fan brush that we don't care if it gets all messed up. And let's go back, grab a little bit of our titanium white. We're only going to load it on one side of the brush, right? Just pulling it down on one side. So we've got a clean back side, filthy front side. We're going to turn our paint-covered side to our little guy, and just about halfway in between them, we're going to start popping in these little things, right? Doesn't have to be a perfectly straight line, and they don't have to match perfectly, because it can be coming in at different angles at different times, right? We don't want it to be straight, that's for sure. Now, let's come back in very lightly. There we go. So lightly, because again, these guys are far away. They're not part of our foreground. We're not going to be able to see them so super brightly that we can see every single detail, right? So the more that you mix it up out there, the harder and harder and harder it is for us to see. Remember to leave a little bit of dark blue underneath, otherwise you're not going to have any difference, right? So now we're going to come back in, load the brush like we always do, both sides, chisel it down, and then let's say there was just a little bit of white right in the front, right there, right? Very lightly, just going over it, just so we can tell there's a little bit of difference. That's all it is. Nothing crazy. You want those guys to be a little bit bigger, a little bit more noticeable? Make them a little bit more noticeable, right? But we have to have our back ocean, then our first set of waves, and then these little pattery bits that we get at the front, right? And you can even go like that. Tapping them in, just barely, barely, barely. Come back. Hey, that's all you need, right? Little things, far off, away. We're not going to see every single bit of every single wave that's out there crashing that far away, right? If we were up here standing on the beach looking out over the whole ocean, then you would see those waves a lot more clearly, right? Now, let's come in just a little. We're trying to dab our brush off so there's not much paint on it, right? You don't have to wash it every time. You can dab it off right onto your paper towel, hit it about 10, 20 times, and look, there's barely any light color in there at all. Right? The only time you would really notice it is if you went onto a black canvas, and you would really notice it bad. Now, what I want to do here, in order to keep my white sandy beaches, we're going to get a little of our white, and just a little touch of our dark sienna. Look at that. It's got skin on the top of it. What kind of a professional do you claim to be, Josh, when you have skin over the top of your paints? Because I always have paint on my palette, and we're constantly doing something, right? So, Who needs a clean palette anyway? I mean, I am super, like, retentive about trying to keep my palette as clean as possible for as long as possible, but we all know eventually it gets to be to where you just can't even see through it. Now, a little bit of that white onto my brush, a little touch of brown. I don't want to have a lot, right? Too much is bad. Now, it's going to go brighter as soon as it hits this thing back here. All that liquid white onto our canvas will be much brighter than anything else. A little bit off here. We might even see the smallest touch right there. And that's pretty much all the beach that we're going to be able to see. You don't have to have everything or every single thing be covered in paint, right? We're going down in little layers is all we're really doing. We need a little thinner on that side, and then we need just a little thicker on this side, meaning thinner shape into a wider shape as we come over here. Literally it, because we're going to put our faraway bushes and they're going to get bigger as they come towards us. So we don't need to have too much paint. Too much paint's going to make it too dark, right? If it's too dark, that's no good. Let's do a little bit of our darker brown, just that smallest little touch. And let's come back in here. One little line. That dark brown, wipe our paint off, right? Spread that guy out. There it is. One more time. Let's do that. Let's tap into our Van Dyke brown. Come right underneath our water. Just tapping it in like you would a bit of grass, right? One little line of grass back there. It's only about 1/4 inch tall, not even as big as my finger, right? And we'll come back, mush that guy up. And that's our dark, wet sand into our dry sand into our bushes, right? Doesn't all need to be the same. And let it get lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter over here until we can tell a difference, right? You don't want to have them both be the same color for sure. Now let's get a little more liquid white. Let's come back in here, right into the front. Just to pop in those small little bits of our textury water that are going to stand out just for the bottom. Again, these waves are so far away, you guys, that you don't have to paint them. That's how far away they are. We don't even have to paint them. Let's come in and cut through all that thick paint. Oh gosh, that looks cool. Right there. Just chop it up a little bit. All we need, right? Again, they are so far away. We just need them to be a little different is all, as the waves are crashing over into there. Now, let's mix up a whole big bunch of our Paint with Josh plaque mix. And while I'm doing that, you guys are going to tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? And somebody didn't tell me that we didn't blend out our sky up here. Guys, you gotta let me know. You gotta let me know. Oh, I'll forget. You know me. You know me. Plus we gotta throw in our clouds. We just skipped past a whole big old section just because we were rocking and rolling. Do you ever have that happen? It's what used to happen to me when I would try to take reference photos as we would go throughout the painting. I would forget because I would get on a roll. And you're like, okay, this is and this and that. Oh, it's so good. I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. And then all of a sudden you're finished, and you're like, oh, I didn't take a reference photo. My bad. My bad. My bad. Same thing with me when I very first started doing tutorials and videos and stuff. I would forget to hit the record button, and I would do a whole video not recording, and only find out at the very end that I just wasted a canvas and like 1.5 hours and all my breath teaching you how to paint nothing because it didn't get caught on video. That was horrible. All right. Now, let's come in. Like I said, we're going to mix up all of our Paint with Josh plaques. So, tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwiches? Look at the differences in those color in the sand. That's all you really need. And after we mix up this plaque, somebody remind me, let's go back and do some clouds just real quick. Just real fast. Clouds on a blue canvas, especially if you have a bit of difference. If it's all blue, I mean, mine is all blue, don't get me wrong, but there's little shades and little differences of blues in there. Mix up our plaque mix, which is the black, the blue, and the crimson. Doesn't matter which brand you use or anything. You want to have crimson, though, versus red. Red makes a different color. Now, before we get too far away, let's go back up, grab a little bit of our liquid, or our titanium white onto our brush. Let's say, and in this one, there's like very kind of flat, far away little floaters. Let's tap them in like this, right? Just by going on my reference photo. Tapping it in, maybe one more little spot. You can see how much paint is up there. It's kind of textured. That way, it'll give it some room to blend down, right? As we start to move it, we can start to blend those little clouds, and they become these little coast rollers, we'll call them, way back in the distance. Woo, baby. Now, let's say we wanted to make it a little bit darker. This is why we need our Paint with Josh plaque mix, right? Let's say we need a little stormier over here. We need to get a small amount of our plaque onto the brush until we can make this light gray color. And we've got one kind of further away floater that's way up here at the top. Way up there, so we're just kind of making flat on the bottom, give them a little bit more body as it goes to the side. And then remember, it's going to brighten as you go. So the more you mix it, the brighter it will get. If you put it on and you're like, oh my God, that's way too dark. Don't worry. The more you mix it, the brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter it'll get. If you actually wanted to mix it all the way away, you could, right? We want to leave a little section out there. Take that same plaque with the white, right? It's not just pure plaque. Oh my goodness, that would be too dark. Too dark. We're trying to make a little bluish grayish color right here, as you can see. Right? Let's come back and pop underneath. It's actually a bit of shadow over the guy. A bit of shadow underneath. I'm going to come up into there like that. We can always go back and add more of our white, right, over the top. Take our same bluey brush that we just had. Come back and start to mix that guy down. Give it a little bit of body underneath. This is a lot of times why I try to, if I had the sky like this, that's the perfect color that you want to mix your clouds down over. But that's our oceany scene in this guy, right? So we can't put our clouds that low. Now watch, since we've got a little bit of darkness out there, covering up, we'll go back over it with some white and try not to cover up all of our shadows, right? Come out there like that. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to leave a little section of white right out there. You want it to be random. At least I do. I don't want it to be this perfect thing. What are we painting? An alien spacecraft? No. It's just a random bit of water, vapor, and cloud. Get out of there. You guys ever have that issue, too? If you get a bristle stuck, especially in an area of thickness, and you don't want to try to pinch it out, come at it from the side and just nick it with one of those bristles, right? You just kind of flick it away from the canvas, dragging. Very easy. Now, that's a cool little sky, soft little bit of ocean madness as we get out here. The further away we go, the more you can mix. Leaving a little bit of sky in between our water, right? Again, very far away water. It doesn't need to be close, but we do need it to be a little bit darker than everywhere else. You know what? Let's pop in one more little bit of line. Just a little bit of white down there. And then again, coming right at it from the side, just so it's blurry. That's all we need it to be, is blurry out there. That's it. Now, let's get our Paint with Josh plaque mix and our big old bushy brush. And let's get to work. Okay, we're going to get a bit of our sap green onto it as well. And then right into the plaque mix. It's going to be a blackish green. I can't even come up with a word for that. All right, we're going to come over here with this blackish green color, leaving a small amount of our beach. We're going to pop up into it. Right? These little bits. Little bushies, little things, maybe we keep going. Who knows? You just got enough paint on your brush, keep going. You see how it's gotten a lot more green? Because we dropped a plaque. Let's go back and get a little bit more plaque. Right over the top, keep it nice and dark. Right? And these guys are going to get bigger, bigger, and bigger as they roll towards us. Right, come over here, over there, over there. They're everywhere, man. Everywhere. Woo, doggy. Now we can go up. We can put flowers, we can put streaks of grass, we can do whatever we want. Coming at it from this angle, right? Just like a little rounded thing. That way that side will look further away and it will get round its way towards us as we go. Very cool. Guys, I like it so far. Now, let's come out here. We know we're gonna have to cover over this green. So let's decide where we want our land to live, right? And we're doing that by pulling it out in this kind of, this is an exaggerated motion, you know what I mean? But a kind of a J or a little U, a valley, a smiley face, whatever you want, just not so pronounced. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that crazy. And the more we come towards us, the more we're going to then start trying to end in the same spot where we have that little pivot point, right? So each one of those guys coming down to the same spot, same spot. Now, we don't have enough plaque down here to make it work, right? We've got to come back, drop it down a bit more. That way there's more to grab onto. Right? Let's get a little bit of green in there too. Just a little bit, just so we'll have some stuff for our shadows and such, right? Come back in here. Just grabbing it down again. Pulling it, pulling it, pulling it, pulling it, pulling it, pulling it, right? All you need, so you have that little angle out there. We don't even need to cover the whole thing. Okay, now we're gonna go back and decide what color is the land beneath that guy. You know what I mean? I would imagine we're going to go with our darker two browns, and we'll start to see as we start dumping out little bits. Doesn't need to go the full distance, remember. Little things, at least in my photo, it all looks the same, but the sun was on this side in the photo. But in any case, we can start to drag that brown out and create a little pathway, a little walkway that you can walk around. The more that closer that we get to us, the darker it needs to be, in my opinion, right? We're going to be coming closer and closer and closer towards us. So let's get a little bit of our two browns now. Mix up a little touch here, get a little different flavor, like Bob used to say. Over there, over there, over there. Again, just whipping it, pulling it. All of a sudden, we've got a little pathway that we can kind of walk through. It's really cool. I went to a really awesome place today. I really like it, and we'll probably end up going back for sure. Right? I'm gonna pull all these guys up into the bushes. That's how I make that little, you know what I mean? That little thing. It just looks like it would. We've got all this piled up, and it would be piled up on both sides going down, so we only need to see this one side if all of our bushies are in the way over there. Pull it out at different places, different ways, different angles. We get to choose, my guys and gals and painting pals, what it looks like. Now, let's go back over it just a touch with our white. Let's see what this white would do to this brown. You know what I mean? We don't want the brown to be right up underneath our white, excuse me, right up underneath our bushes. If this is going to be our kind of highlight, we don't want it to catch up everywhere. We're going to have a little bit of difference. A little difference, right? Very cool. What do you want yours to look like? That's what I want mine to look like. How do you want yours? Very easy decision to make, right? Cool. Cool little thing. We need to fill in our beachy brown side on the sides of the canvas. And then we're going to add a little bit of grass coming in from this other side. We'll be all set, guys. It's a very simple little painting. We'll highlight a couple of our bushes, throw some stuff on there, and then we'll get you over to Glitterwitch probably before she's even ready to go. So remember, this one is available for sale. You can get it if you go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com. You can grab it up. It's number 1346, I believe, which is, whoa, it's like way too many paintings that we have done. So many paintings, guys. So many. 1,346 paintings. And I've never done one like this, if you can believe that or not. Because I've never seen this before. I just literally took this photo today, and then we're going to recreate it. Very cool. Oh, I love it. Just a few more of these little guys. Oh yeah, right there. Right in between. A couple little crashers rolling in. There's so many things, you know what I mean? So many waves coming in all at the same time. All from different angles, crisscrossing, bouncing off each other. I was looking at it for literally 90 minutes. I was just staring at the ocean, taking videos, taking up-close pictures. I was standing with my phone way down to the level as the water's creeping in, not realizing that it was coming in too fast, and then it soaked my shoes, my socks, everything. It was a bad day. It was a bad day out there. All right, now let's see. In my reference photo, there is like a bit of wood, a chunk, something out there. All right, so let's get our two brown colors. We're going to mix them in with our Paint and Josh black over here. Kind of take away that green color. Oh, there we go. Gorgeous, right? Now, at the base of these little guys, there was like a trunk of an old tree or a piece of driftwood. Some sort of something. It was everywhere. It was out. It was all over the place. So we're just going to put in this little bit of our textury paint, a little touch of it, maybe underneath that guy. If we can, just pull out the smallest little bit. Just a littlest touch. Right? We don't want to have our angles be too crazy or too much down, right? That's why I always say try to pull it more horizontal than making a smiley face, because it's kind of hard to place other things there when you're doing that, right? Yeah, a little bit more of that brownness. Just kind of tapping it in. Literally just mushing it onto our thing. A whole other piece of our wood, whatever it was. It was like a log, just a crazy little log out there. Right? And that log being all dry, out there for a long time was very light. It wasn't white, but it was very, 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 very light color. So we're going to take a very light color on our little guy back there. I'm going to tap in little bits of bark, right? Not every piece has to be covered. Of course, not every single part of our whole barky tree is going to be all covered up. There we go. Just little bits, little things here and there, just tapping and pulling away. And you can decide whatever we thought it was, or is, or whatever. And then we can come back underneath the guy and sort of flatten out our line right there. It's just a little bit too dippy. Too much of a dippy bob turn for me. Right there. Oh yeah. The more we get on there, the more straight that we pull it, the more straight it will look. But you gotta change those brush strokes, right? We don't want it to be sort of too round, otherwise that whole thing would have fallen off. There we go. See what I mean? A little bit more paint, a little bit more pressure, a lot of pressure, lots and lots and lots of pressure like that. And as we go, we're going to get darker, and darker, and darker. Just means more paint on our brush, right? And then we mush it out, mush it out, mush it out, mush it out. Leaving our little shadows up underneath our guy right there. Just walk right out onto that sucker, right? Doesn't it just look like that? Now, let's get a little of our sap green, because there was a bit of a grassy little thing happening down here. A little of our cadmium yellow, a super bright one. I don't need it to be like neon, but I do like it. I do like it. All right, we're going to come tapping in like this. We're going to start to make our pathway, right? Each time doing it, coming down to that same kind of angle, and then tapping in backwards, filling in all the rest of this stuff back here, right? I'm using a hefty amount of paint too, just because it was real close, needed to be real dark, and I want to be able to see some of these little grassy bits, right? I want to see them a little bit more than we would if they were further away. Here we go. Tapping them out, tapping them out. We get to decide where they live. We can put bushes there. We can do whatever we want. Literally, I came and snapped this photo earlier today and went, wow, that's a cool painting. I got to do that on one of these shows. So, lots of fun to be had down at the beach today. Lots and lots and lots of fun to be had down there. So, let's get back into our highlights on these little guys back here. We don't need to make everything all exactly the same. Let's start out with a little of our cad yellow. And why not? We'll go right for the middle area, right? I like to start above the bushes themselves, right? That way we have a bit of our area that's pure bright color, a little bit of texture, not too darkened yet by our dark plaque, because we're starting above it, right? Again, like that, a little of that yellow ochre, let it work its way down, right? A little bit more, you want a little more texture, hop in a little bit more, right? We get to decide what they look like, how far, this, that, and the other. Now let's dab off our brush, come back in, a little bit more of that cad yellow, just because I love it so much. It's such a pretty little yellowy color. Off of these guys. Remember, not everything has to be so uberly bright. We don't have to see every single piece of every single bush of every single place, right? You have to leave room for our deep, dark critters, or at least deep, dark areas for our critters to get down into, right? Now, let's go a little bit. We're a few little white flowery bits off of this guy, too. Which is hard to kind of think and imagine. Like, when I see white, I want to think snow, right? But a lot of times, there are little gorgeous little white flowers out there that don't have any snow or anything on them. Now, a little bit over here, let's go into our, you know what, let's get a little of our white, a little touch of white, a little bit of our crimson. We'll make this pinky color out here. Oh, just a couple little pinky bits hanging out there, right? We're going to change it. Let's go back to our bright yellow. Pop off that. Right, the more we go, might as well just pow, a few little bits. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I like it. Oh, guys, I like it. Let me wash this thing off real fast, and then we'll see what we can do. Now, remember, guys, this one is available. You can get it if you go to my store, paintwithjosh.etsy.com. You can grab it up, nab it up before anyone else gets it, and it's 50% off its normal price. So, if you're looking to get it at a discount, this is the time for you. Gotta put on my game show voice whenever I promote myself. keep in mind, this is what I do for a living. I don't have a job. This is it. Like, I teach you guys how to paint. Every so often, somebody will buy one of my paintings, keeps me in business, and it allows me to go buy more supplies and bring you guys free videos every week. At least 2, sometimes up to 10. If you're watching over on TikTok, we do 10 free shows a week over there. So, all that, all those canvases and everything, they cost, don't they? We all know nothing's free. And art supplies are very expensive. You guys already know that because you're all artists. All of you guys just love it. Let's see. Love the torture like me. Alright. The brush is all cleaned up. And then let's decide. While I'm doing that, I only got 2 more left to go. So you got to tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? And expect to see a few more of these Oregon coast paintings coming from Paint with Josh. Because I got about 100 reference photos to mull over and think about how I would want to do certain things. So just be ready for it. Just be ready. Now let's grab up our knife, right? Our little palette knife, just like that. Let's come in here to the deepest, darkest of all the areas and scrape in just a couple little branches, little thingies, little roots, little bits that are growing up, holding up all these flowers. But you got to do it from those our dark areas, right? If you go too far up into your light, it's just not going to look right. So toss a few little bits in there, makes them look really cool. Now let's work a little bit more on this log. Even though the log didn't come all the way, I kind of want it to. So let's go this way. A little bit more of our thick paint, just kind of dumping it on there. Got to be nice and textured if you want it to look like it's in the foreground, right? Or if you want it to have a good enough shadow too. Come over the top of it with that light color and then just tap at that sucker. Just tappy, tappy, tappy. It's going to start to go dark almost instantly. So we go back, a little bit more of our paint, tap at it again, right? We get to choose what it looks like, so never be disappointed in it. And who knows, maybe it's a little cobblestone bit of rocks. Maybe it's not a driftwood log. Whatever it is in your mind, it is in your mind, right? You get to pick what it is, and then you get to tell us what it is. So, pretty cool. I like it. I like it. It's almost like a little pathway, we could call it. Right? If we did it like a little stone pathway, almost. I'm going to go off the script here. A little bit more of the brown and the white. And now we've gone off script from our reference photo, but we have the know-how, right, to be able to kind of adjust and go, okay, maybe there's a little rock path, and maybe it goes all the way around the edge over there. Who knows? Only the we knows. Oh, that's kind of cool. That is very, very, very cool, you guys. Having a great day and feeling better. That's good, Yo Reed. Hope everyone is feeling good, having an awesome time, an awesome day. And let's get back in here. I feel like we gotta change our angle again. Like, it's just not as brown, not as straight as I want it to be. There we go. A little bit of change, right? We can keep changing it and keep changing it and keep changing it however we want until we're happy with it, and then we can be done, right? That's the best part about painting. We get to do things that other people don't get to do. Move mountains, build worlds, right? It's things that only like animators and stuff get to do. You know what? This part right here, watch this. I'm gonna take all this out. Take it all out, down to there, and just really blend it in nice. You take that whole bit of bush, or a whole bit of little path, whatever we didn't like about it, right? Take it out. Now it's got a little crick in our path right here. And again, maybe our line was off the whole time. So, blend it out. Right? I stand on an angle over here when I paint, and then sometimes I look back and I go, what the heck happened right there? You know what I mean? Oh, I like that. Ooh. Now we'll go brighten it up with some lighter color in our sand. And I can show you how to fix stuff. Doesn't always have to just, you don't have to be disappointed with it, right? Take that lighter color, work it back toward our shadow. Trying to stay in the right angles anyway. There we go. There we go. I like that better. I like that better. I almost want to pop in like a giant sticky tree into this thing or something, just to have it come down like right down into here. Even though I didn't see it, I just feel it. I can feel the stickiness of it. There we go. Over there, not trying to grab that green and drag that back over. You don't want to do that. A little bit more of your white. You can help lighten up areas that you didn't want to be overly dark. Dragging them back towards our little shadow. I like that right there. I like that. What if we get a little, change our grass angle just a little bit? Come over here with our yellow and our green. Right? Come down. Pop it out just a bit further. So we can always erase it if we don't like it, right? There you go. That's more like what I'm thinking, Joshy. That's more like it. Just a little change of angle. All you gotta have. Very cool. Very easy little fix. I like to show you guys how to fix different things, you know what I mean? It's never just gonna be a perfect thing the whole time. Now, you ready for something experimental? The painting's sold! Hey-oh! Who bought it? No way! Josh's paintings don't sell during live shows. Hey! Boom! Who ended up, do we know who got it? Do we know who ended up getting it? That's my question. That's wicked cool. So, in any case, I'm sure we'll figure it out. Jess G got her puzzle today! Guys, I released 14 brand new puzzles. Good segue, Jess G. One more time for good luck. I released 14 brand new puzzles over to my Etsy store. So, if you love puzzles, and I mean, who don't? It's a lot of fun to do. Then go check out what I've got over there. I've got 14 different ones that you can just go wild over, honestly. Just go mad about. A little bit of our cad yellow right on top of this grass. Just a little touch. Just making it a little brighter in places, darker in places, right? Grass is never all just exactly the same. I was looking at it today. Sometimes there's brown bits, there's dark soil underneath, you know what I mean? Same color of your grass. So even saying that, you could pipe in a bit of brown, just a couple little dead areas in the grass. Maybe somebody took their dogs out over here. They weren't supposed to, and they made a little hole in our grass. Bastards. Right? What are we gonna do? Tap it in, just making it very horizontal, right? Horizontal. Drag it however far you want it to go. And it goes all the way around. Who knows? Maybe it do, maybe it don't, right? No, it doesn't. Did you get this one? You sneak. You little sneak. Well, yeah, you're going to get to name it. So start coming up with a name for it. And I have a cool idea just to see if this will work, right? Can I just try something? And I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get rid of it, even if we don't like it. But I got to try it for the followers, man. We're going to just try. We're going to get the smallest amount of our odorless mineral spirits, right? Very teeny tiny amount. We don't want it to be dripping, that's for sure. I'm gonna come over here. We're gonna see if we can't throw in some sand like we do stars, and see how that works. A little of our brown, a little of our plaque, and let's just see, right? Let's get it up here on the edge. Throw in. Oh my dad. Oh my goodness. I like that. Like they're like little stones all over the place, right? We can always go back and wipe them away if we didn't like it. But what if we throw in some white little bits on top, right? And then again, we can always take this away, so it's no big deal. Take it away, but what if we throw in a few little bits right on top of that guy? Oh my goodness. Does that look like gravel? Does that look like gravel to you guys? Because it looks like gravel to me. It kind of looks like gravel. Gotta get real close though. Don't want it to spray too far into our grass and stuff. Doesn't it look like gravel? Wow. Do you like it or do you hate it? Because I can try to make it look a little cooler, right? But, right? Isn't that amazing? Ooh, shoot. All right, let's go with a little bit more of the black though, the darker color. Again, very, very small amount. Like, all right, that's probably too much. If it's dripping off your brush, it's probably too much. Back in here into that darkness, just getting it wet enough. Right? Move it over there, move it over here, come up to my darker spot. Let's go back on like these guys a little bit closer. Dude, did we just unlock a level? Did we just level up and unlock something that we didn't know existed? Right here in front of everyone's eyes? Is that what we did? I kind of like it. Now, how much do you do it? That's the key, right? Like, when do you stop? When do you decide enough is enough? There we go. A little bit darker right around there. Over there. And then once it's dark, we can brighten it up, right? That's pretty cool. All right, let's see. Let's try this again. And again, if we didn't like it, this stuff is so wet and so thin, it would just blend away like it was never there, right? So, let's take a look. Let's take a look-see here. We can toss in some gravelly bits just on the side, not too dark, not too bright. Does that look like gravel or what? Or am I crazy? Am I the crazy one? Or does that look freaking cool? In my opinion. You know what we're missing? That's exactly what we're missing, Josh. That's exactly what we're missing is a bit of grass to cap in the bottom right here. Right? This guy had a bit of stuff growing off him. I kept looking at the picture going, what the hell is wrong with this thing? That's why, because he had a little bit of grassiness coming off. Over there, over there, over there. Tapping it up, tapping it in. Oh, that's not the coolest? Is that not the coolest little thing? We just decided, hey, we want to have some grass underneath there, and all of a sudden, poof, we've got grass underneath our little bushes, right? Dude, I like that. I like it. I like it. It's pretty cool. So, the only thing that I don't like about it is now our grassy area down here. That doesn't make any sense. So we're going to get our browns, a little of that thinner too, just to darken out our grass, bring it back. And we can have the dark color, but our gravel has to wrap around right here. This is where it goes. This makes it into a path. So we bring it especially back and around our grass like that. Okay, now how are we going to make gravel, guys? Since we just came up with it right now, right? How did we do it? You got to tell me. How are we going to make a gravelly bit of something? Right? You tell me in the comments. Because I don't know. Remember, you got to have this stuff so watery. That's a bit, probably too much. Too much of the wateriness. But it's got to be so runny. And it doesn't even matter. Darker on our black version. Scrape up a little bit more. Come back in here. A little bit more. Come back again. Popping it in. Popping it in. Popping it in. Oh, sweet. Okay. Now, let's go back with our liquid white. We're going to wipe it off. Back onto the liquid white section. And throw in our sandy little white coverings. As close as we can get, anyway. Dudes, is that not the coolest? Is that not the coolest thing ever? Thank you, Wanda. I appreciate you. I appreciate that, Wanda. I love you. I just love you. She said, Josh, you're the top artist ever. Thank you, Wanda. I appreciate it. I don't agree, but I appreciate it. I appreciate. Look at that, dude. Little sandy, rocky path. I freaking like it. I freaking like it. Now, if we can just let's mess around a little bit, just a touch, right? Let's think about this. If technically I want it to come down, right? That, let's bring it down a little bit further. See it, right? We can see the path. The path is there. The path is shown and grown. Okay, now we went a little bit too far right there, right? So, what we'll do, take our dark brush, pull it out, go back in, fix it. There we go. That's what I want right there. Okay, so a little bit more of the dark, which is a small amount of our odorless mineral spirits and our plaque mix. Right? A little bit of that guy out on the edge. And then in here. Ooh, if you got a lot of it on there, it makes bigger stones. That's pretty cool. Bigger sticks and stones will break my bones. That's pretty neat. Now wipe that off, go back into your liquid white, and come back over to your side. And remember, guys, we gotta all go check out Glitterwix over there. Ooh! That's it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. It's done. Leave it. Leave it, baby. That's not the right one. I need a little bit more of my yellow grass over here. Tapping it out. Just a little yellow, like pure cadmium. Right? Little lines of it. Tapping it down, mixing it in, just very slight, very little, very little. Oh, there it is, guys. Oh, holy moly. All right, I like that one. I like that one. Let's get over here. We're going to sign it with our little birds out in the sky, which I did see a few birds. I didn't see the 3, but I did see 1 or 2 birds out there trying to get something, trying to get some crabs or something. It's not the way I did it, but if you try to do it, you can. Over here, we're going to grab a little bit more of our odorless mineral spirits on the liner brush. This is that paint and brand liner brush. Super long, awesome little liner brush. And, you know what, let's throw a couple little thingies. Doers out the top, just little bits that maybe have grown through. Right, popping out over here, they're over there. Nothing too crazy. There's literally a few of them in my reference photo. So, very cool, guys. That one came out stinking neat, if you ask me. Just if you're asking me, sir, it came out pretty cool. But who am I? I'm just a big nobody. Just a big nonsense nobody. Oh, up too high. There we go. There we go. A little bit with the grass. Kind of pissing me off a little bit. Just a little bit. Over here, over there. Just very lightly flicking it out. Cover areas, right? The more that you put out there, the more bright it's going to be, of course. So if you get it into a dark area like that. Ooh. Guys, all right, Cosmic, start coming up with a name for this one. What do you got for a title for this old boy? Right here. Looks more like sand the more that you freaking spray it out. The more you spray it like in real tight quarters, the more it looks like freaking sand, you guys. That's amazing. All right, let's come over here. We might have to do that on like one of our up-close seascapes where we do the big crashing wave, and instead of putting anything down at the bottom, literally flick in sand on one of those guys. I want to do it right now. I'm going to do it right this very instant. All right, over here, over there. Take this guy off of this guy. We're going to clean these guys up. Now, the Cosmic has bought this painting. You guys have to come up with a name. If you don't come up with a name for it, then she's going to have to come up with one all herself. So, start typing in the comments, what do you think this one would be called if you had painted it, if you had just bought it? If it was the last painting in the world and it needed a name, right? What would you name it? Just let us know. Choose from all those comments which is her favorite, and then she'll let me know, and then I can sign the back of the painting with that said comment. Let's put this guy over here. Just a little JK in the grass, that's all. Just kidding. Right? Alright guys, this one, honestly, probably one of my favorites. We did learn a brand new thing on how to create our little bit of sandy rocks and stuff. I really like that look. It's a really cool thing. So I hope you guys can transfer that to one of your paintings and hope that will make yours look even cooler. Now I can't wait to do one of the more close-up ones. I've got a bunch of reference photos from today. If you missed it earlier, I went down to the Oregon coast today. It was my first time down to the coast since moving up here like 2 months ago. And it's gorgeous. I took like 100 photos. Lots of paintings ideas coming up, especially more with this. This sandiness out there, except way closer. Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I just unlocked the door to something that has been hidden from me. And now, who am I going to share it with? Everyone in the world. To tell all you guys how to make that same look. There we go. What am I hitting here? Bristle? There we go. And hopefully your paintings of your sandy beaches or whatever, little pebbly areas, little gravelly bits, might come out a little bit better. Just from seeing how old Paint Josh does it, right? Over there, over there. Everybody probably does it a little bit differently. And I'm the only one that's wild enough for you not to fall asleep while watching, right? So, lucky for you, come over here, wipe this sucker all down, you can even see through it. Still just a brand new palette. Don't you love it when they're brand new? I sure do. Get the backside. Remember, whenever you're doing the spray bits, there's a lot of paint that goes and it wraps around the back of your palette, which you also have to wipe off. Cool. So, what do we got for a title? And we'll go get the Spinny Winnie Wheel for Cosmic. It hasn't seen action, this Spinny Winnie Wheel. I think it's got cobwebs on it. It's been so long since this thing has been brought out. Boom! So, Cosmic, let us know if you're going to keep the wheel spin, if you're going to donate it to somebody else, or whatever. Up to me. I mean, I would keep it if I spent all the money. I'd keep the gift myself. You know what I mean? So, no shame, but let us know who's it for, if it's for you or someone else. And then, Path of Love and Happiness. I like that title. Wanda G. I like that title. All right. Oh, it's for Wanda. Spins for Wanda. That's so nice. Okay, I'm going to come over here. Wanda G. This one's for you. What are we going to get? Oh, the Glitterwix 3-pack tiny sniff candle set. You're going to be so overjoyed with those. They smell so freaking fantastic. So, let London or Glitterwix know. They'll be coming in here real quickly. Probably in the next 2 minutes they'll be requesting to join. So, somebody remind me to tell them that Wanda won a 3-pack tiny sniff off of the Spinny Winnie Wheel. Go over here, slide this guy down, just like that. Forget how to spell original. I've spelled original 1,346 times, and I still mess it up every time. I don't know why. 1346. What are we calling it again? Path of Love and Happiness. Path of Love and Happiness. Love that title. Painted on 6/17 of 2025. We're all going to go to paintwithjosh.com because it's the best place ever. Besides glitterwix.com. GLITTERWICKS. Glitterwix.com. That's where we're about to go start watching. Right after this show, I go over there on TikTok and Instagram. And I think she goes to YouTube and Facebook as well. And watch her show over there. So, a lot of fun. And then I'll be back later on to do something special. I'm really excited about the show next. The next show is going to be fan-freaking-tastic. So, I love you guys, everybody over on Facebook and on YouTube. You guys have been fantastic. I can't wait to see your versions of this gorgeous little painting. And I can't wait to see what you guys can do with the gravel bits, right? I want to see. Send them in. Paint with Josh over on Facebook. It's facebook.com/official Paint with Josh. So, can't wait to see you guys on the next one. I love you. I hope you all have a great week. I'll see you back here on Thursday. And until I see you guys again next time, take care. Have the rest of a good day. And boom! Oh, that was the wheel.